everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're finally doing the series that I was hoping on getting started. In this series I will be reading classics. I'm going to start off by reading some classics that are commonly assigned in like middle school or high school that I never got assigned and therefore never read. So in this video we will be discussing The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Because I was trying to be a little classy, I know in my last video we had White Claw. In this video, we've got a nice Merlot. So, with that being said, let's hop into it. Let's start with To Kill a Mockingbird. So I pulled up Spark Notes for all of these books because it has been years since I read English literature critically at all. I didn't have to take really an English course in college. I took like a writing class. So it's probably been 6 years since I took any kind of class where I went through reading a book thinking more critically than I think about reading a typical novel. So I pulled up Spark Notes to kind of help out. Also helpful because it has been at least a month, probably a month and a few weeks since I read To Kill a Mockingbird. I did really enjoy this book, so I read it pretty quickly. Unfortunately though, at this point, I don't remember the finer details of this novel, so I figured it would be helpful to go over some broader topics to discuss this book and get me back in the groove of reading literature instead of just an average novel. Let's do a plot overview to kind of catch up, I guess. Okay, the plot overview is kind of long. Let's skim. Scout Finch lives with her brother Jim and their widowed father Atticus in the sleepy Alabama town of Macomb. Macomb is suffering through the Great Depression, but Atticus is a prominent lawyer and the Finch family is reasonably well off in comparison. They befriend a boy named Dill. Dill becomes fascinated with the spooky house on their street called the Radley Place. The house is owned by Mr. Nathan Radley, whose brother, Arthur, nicknamed Boo, has lived there for years without venturing outside. Scout goes to school and hates it. Jim and Scout find presents in the tree, presumably left there by Boo. To the consternation of Macomb's racist white community, Atticus agrees to defend a black man named Tom Robinson, who has been accused of raping a white woman. Jim and Scout get made fun of. Atticus' sister, Alexandra, comes to visit. Is it visiting? Doesn't she move in to help take care of the kids? The children sit in the balcony with the other black citizens during the trial. Atticus provides clear evidence that the accusers, Mayella Ewell and her father Bob, are lying. Despite the evidence pointing to Tom's innocence, the all-white jury convicts him. The innocent Tom later tries to escape from the prison and is shot to death. I don't remember him getting shot to death. What? How fast was I reading this book that I missed that? In the aftermath of the trial, Jim's faith in justice is badly shaken. Bob Ewell feels that Atticus and the judge made a fool out of him. He vows revenge. He menaces Tom Robinson's widow. And he attacks Jim and Scout as they walk home from a Halloween party. No, wait, I do remember him being shot now. I'm sorry, I had like half of the bottle of wine before starting filming, so this whole video is gonna be bad. Okay, yeah. So Bob attacks Scout and Jim, Boo Radley comes out and saves them, and he stabs Bob. Boo carries Jim home. Scout says that Bob fell on a tree root and stabbed himself. Boo goes back to his house. Later, Scout feels as though she can finally imagine what life is like for Boo. He has become a human being to her at last. With this realization, Scout embraces her father's advice to practice sympathy and understanding and demonstrates that her experiences with hatred and prejudice will not sully her faith in human goodness. Okay, yes. I swear I remember all that. Okay. Next section, key questions and answers. How is Tom Robinson a mockingbird? This I thought was interesting because I had seen like jokes about the book before I read it, obviously, of like memes and stuff being like, it's not even about To Kill a Mockingbird. So that was literally one thing when I went into reading this, I was like, I have to figure out why it's called To Kill a Mockingbird. So that's kind of funny that it's like the first question on here. The phrase, it's to kill a mockingbird, refers to, the phrase, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird, refers to intentionally and pointlessly destroying something that does no harm. The mockingbird is a songbird, not a pest, and it isn't a game bird. Killing a mockingbird serves no purpose and therefore is an act of unnecessary cruelty. When the jury convicts Tom Robinson of rape, despite the absence of physical evidence, and despite Atticus's compelling defense, the jury is guilty of the same unnecessary cruelty. The jury, specifically in the town of Macomb, generally destroy a good person who has never done harm simply because of the color of his skin. Though Tom is the symbolic mockingbird at the heart of the novel, he is not the only character who fits that description. Heck Tate also specifically describes Boo Radley as a mockingbird, in that he is a harmless person who is the victim of pointless cruelty, because everybody's like afraid of him because he never leaves the house, right? Unlike Tom Robinson, Boo Radley is not destroyed, though he does suffer greatly. Okay, I don't want to answer all the questions. How many are there? Although this is good. What does the rabid dog Atticus shoot symbolize? That Scout and Jim saw their father as more reserved and didn't see him as powerful. But they gain respect after they learn what a good shot he is. It shows that Atticus is protecting his community. Atticus's killing of the dog and defense of Tom Robinson both reflect that he is willing and able to take on things that the rest of Macomb is unequipped to face. Oh, and the next question is about how the story of Jim breaking his arm bookends the novel, because it starts the like opening sentence is about Scout saying that Jim broke his arm, and then at the end of the novel we get to find out how Jim broke his arm and the complexity of the events that led to that. That's cool. Why does the jury find Tom guilty? Because they're racist. Like, that's the answer, right? Yeah. The most obvious reason is because the jury's overwhelming racism. Also because Mayella and Bob both perjured themselves on the stand. The jury was basing their judgment on the part of the fact that witnesses have to swear in and say that they promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But Mayella and Bob were both lying because they were ashamed of the circumstances surrounding them. Oh, this is nice. Why is Dell an important character? He's a foil to Jim and Scout because of his youthful enthusiasm, and he represents both childhood innocence and friendship. That's so nice. I liked him. The next question, why does Atticus take Tom Robinson's case knowing that he'll lose? Because of personal integrity and a firm belief that the racist ways of the Deep South will slowly but surely change over time. Do it for Atticus, y'all. Why does Mayella Ewell lie on the witness stand? Because she is trash? Worse than trash? Anyway. What qualities make Atticus a good father? Aw, I loved Atticus. He was such a good dad. He dearly loves his children. He offers them a role model of integrity, wisdom, trust, and honesty. He lets them be children by giving them freedom, but he also insists that they work hard and take care of each other. He provides a good home. He's a pillar of the community. Yeah, I liked Atticus. What does the ending mean? Oh, this is long. Another important aspect of the novel's ending is Scout's walk home with Boo. Boo specifically asks Scout to take him home, his only spoken lines of dialogue in the whole novel, revealing that this character who has been a source of fear for so many of the townspeople is actually quite fearful himself. In seeing Boo's fear, Scout is put into the position of wanting to protect him and his dignity from the rest of the town. She's putting herself in another person's shoes and thinking about the world from another perspective. Atticus's final lines, that most people are nice when you finally see them for who they are, underscore Scout's maturation process from a child who is irrationally afraid of Boo to an adult capable of seeing Boo as a human being. Yeah, that was definitely something that I took away from the novel, like the importance of seeing things from other perspectives, and that people who are different from you, you have to consciously make an effort to think how they think, because if someone is like really different from you, leads a very different life from you, it's not easy to see things from their perspective. But to treat people with empathy and kindness and respect, it is necessary to kind of step out of yourself and think, what is their life like? What has their life experiences been? And that was one thing that I really liked about this book, was that the attention to needing to see things from another point of view in order to understand behavior, because people aren't the way they are for no reason. There is a reason behind why people act how they act, why they treat people how they treat people, and that's not to justify bad behavior and say that, like, well, it's fine because they have their reasons, but like, it is important to get to the heart of the issue and to understand why people think the way that they think. So I think that's as in-depth as I'm going to get with To Kill a Mockingbird, just to keep this video from being too long. I don't want to go into any further detail, really. Anyway, that was To Kill a Mockingbird. I did really like this book. I think if you haven't read this book, because I know one reason that I never picked it up was because I had no idea what this book was about. I didn't, or anything. So I was kind of like, it's a classic, and I didn't realize that it would be a quick and easy read, because most books that are considered classics to me are a little heavier. At least that's what I was, for the most part, exposed to in school. So yeah, I really enjoyed To Kill a Mockingbird. I think it's an important educational work. I understand why it's assigned in a lot of schools as reading now. So that's that on that. Okay, now let's do The Grapes of Wrath. That was the book that I read most recently out of this set. So let's go to plot overview. Oh, this is going to be really long. Okay, so Tom Joad has been released from an Oklahoma state prison following a manslaughter conviction. He's like walking home. Yeah, he's going back to his family's farm. He runs into Jim Casey, a former preacher, calling out a belief that all life is holy, even the parts that are typically thought to be sinful. He gets home, all the farms are deserted. He runs into Muley Graves, an old neighbor, who tells them that everyone's going to California looking for work. So Jim and Tom go home to the Joads family's home. Tim finds out that his family is also going to California. They've picked up handbills offering work in California. There's a long journey. Grandpa Joad dies on the way. He was the one that was complaining so much about leaving his land. The Joads meet Ivy and Sari Wilson, a couple plagued with car trouble, and invite them to travel with the family. Sari Wilson is sick and near the California border becomes unable to complete the journey. I don't know if I remember that scene. The closer they get to California, they start hearing that there was not going to be jobs for them. There's one migrant worker who tells Pa that children have been starving to death. They keep going, they press on. Grandma Joad dies as well. Noah, the eldest of the Joad children, soon abandons the family, as does Connie, a young dreamer who is married to Tom's pregnant sister, Rose of Sharon. The Joads meet with much hostility. While staying in a ramshackle camp known as a Hooverville, Tom and several men get into a heated argument with the deputy sheriff over whether workers should organize a union. When the argument turns violent, Jim Casey knocks the sheriff down and is arrested. Police arrive and announce their intention to burn the Hooverville to the ground. Tom helps to defuse the danger by alerting and organizing the men in the camp. The Joads cannot survive and have to move on. Tom runs into Jim Casey, who, after being released from jail, has begun organizing workers in the process. Casey has made many enemies among the landowners. When the police hunt him down and kill him in Tom's presence, Tom retaliates and kills a police officer. Okay, I didn't remember that it was a police officer that Tom killed. I thought it was just somebody, a migrant worker or something. Tom goes into hiding. Ruthie, the youngest Joad daughter, reveals to another kid that her brother killed 2 men and is hiding nearby. Ma finds Tom and sends him away. Tom goes off to fulfill Jim's task of organizing the migrant workers. They run out of work. There's rain and a big flood. Rose of Sharon gives birth to a stillborn baby. Ma leads her family to a dry barn for safety. Inside the barn, there is a dying man there with his son. And Ma sends everyone out so that since Rose of Sharon just had the baby, she's producing milk. Ma sends everyone else out so Rose of Sharon can nurse the dying man. That was I didn't like that. Oh, there's no questions part to this book. What are we gonna do? No. Let's go to main ideas. Let's do themes. Man's inhumanity to man. So this is talking about how Steinbeck shows that the issues that the migrant workers are having is not because of bad weather or just bad luck. It's because of other human beings or socioeconomic circumstances that are at work here. There's a line between the privileged and the poor, and that division is the primary source of evil and suffering in the world. Okay, and that this book is about 2 families, the Joads and the migrant workers. The Joads are joined by blood, but the text argues that it is not their genetics, but their loyalty and commitment to one another that establishes their true kinship. And that the migrant workers have a new way of defining kinship. Like when the Joads meet the Wilsons, in a very short time, the 2 groups merge into one, sharing hardships and committing to one another's survival. The dignity of wrath. So the family has lost everything. They've lost family members that have left their group. Rose of Sharon gave birth to a stillborn baby, but the family still rose above these issues to provide kindness and generosity for the dying man. They haven't lost their value of human life. That these people are angry, but they've never lost their dignity. According to Steinbeck, many of the evils that plague the Joad family and the migrants stem from selfishness. Simple self-interest motivates the landowners and businessmen to sustain a system that sinks thousands of families into poverty. In contrast to and in conflict with this policy of selfishness stands the migrants' behavior toward one another. Aware that their livelihood and survival depend upon their devotion and the collective good, the migrants unite in order to survive. And so I guess we'll end there talking about that book. I did really like it, as well as To Kill a Mockingbird. There's a lot of things, I guess, that I hadn't really thought about that I kind of went over for the summaries. It kind of made me think more about it as well. because I could definitely kind of tell that it's a little bit Steinbeck's perspective and his like he obviously has things to say about like capitalism and just the way I guess commercial farming was being handled in America at that time, the commercialization, that kind of stuff. But I guess I didn't really pick up as much on like bigger picture things as we went over. So that was really good. Hopefully the more books that I do, the better I'm able to come into it, like in the mindset of reading, again, just reading things critically, understanding like, because a lot of the books that I read, there's not really much going on beyond like the surface level story. So it is definitely a change in mindset when you're reading a book and you're reading like the subtext of the story and like the symbolism and the themes of the story. So, hello, I'm back. The angle might be different. I kept a guitar on top of my bookcases. It fell on top of my wine glass, so I had to take a quick filming break for about 20 or 30 minutes to pick up and vacuum up glass shards and scrub as much red wine as I could off of my desk and my bookcases. So that was really fun. My copy of Lord of the Flies, the next book we're discussing, will forever be stained by this occurrence. That being said, let's talk about Lord of the Flies. So SparkNotes did not have the study guide for Lord of the Flies like they did for the other books. They do have a test or a quiz on it, and then they have another article called Sorting the Characters from Lord of the Flies into Hogwarts Houses. So I thought those would be some really fun things to go over for this book. That of these three books, this was the book that I had the most idea what the story was going to be about. Like, I know that this is about boys who get trapped on an island and kind of their downward spiral from that point on. So let's go ahead and take this quiz. I don't know how many questions this is or how good I'm going to do. What does the conch shell symbolize? Okay, this is the first question out of 10. Is the conch shell civilization, social mobility, lost love, or that death is all around us? I'm going to guess civilization. Oh, I don't get my answers until the end. Oh, no. Okay, why does Simon sometimes just stroll off into the doom jungle by himself? A, he is plotting something heinous like a ritual sacrifice or surprise party. B, he is actually the beast. C, he likes his alone time. Or D, he's a regular human by day and an ogre by night, cursed to always be so until he gets true love's first kiss. I know D is a joke. He's plotting something heinous. Which one is Simon? I'm going to say he likes his alone time. Who is the Lord of the Flies? A, Jack. He goes by many names, including but not limited to Lord of the Flies and Mother of Dragons. B, the dead man in the parachute. C, the naval officer. Or D, a pig's head on a stick. Isn't it B? Because he's the monster? Oh, no, it does give you your answer. I just got the other ones right, so they were green when I clicked on them, and it took me to the next question. If I get it wrong, it turns it red and highlights the one in green. So the right answer was not the dead man in the parachute. The right answer was a pig's head on a stick. I don't remember that. How does Jack attempt to foster a peaceful coexistence with the beast? A, he sacrifices Percival. B, he builds a shrine. C, he promises not to invade Czechoslovakia. That's funny. D, he leaves an offering of a pig's head whenever they kill. Is it D? Is there like a pig's head thing that I totally missed? There sure was. Which character discovered the true identity of the so-called beast? A, Simon, our token good guy. B, Ralph, our fearless leader. C, Piggy, Our beacon of logic and light in the darkness of chaos. D. Maurice, who is also a character. I feel like Maurice is not a character then. Which one is... Isn't it Piggy? Nope, it's Simon, the token good guy. Although what William Golding has penned here is essentially a death tome, only 3 of the boys actually wind up dying. Which ones are they? Oh, shoot. Okay. A. Simon, Robert, and Percival. I was going to say, doesn't Simon live? But he's in 3 of the other options. B. Simon, Robert, and that one kid who drowned. C. Simon, Piggy, and that one kid who accidentally got set on fire. Okay, I think it's that one. Because I know Piggy died. And clearly Simon has to die. He's in 3 out of 4 answers. And then there was the one kid who accidentally got set on fire. I remember him. Option D is they are all named Harold. I know, I thought it was kind of weird too. I think it's C. Yes, okay. Oh, I wonder what I'm going to make. Which character has a bizarro fever dream conversation with the Lord of the Flies? Okay, I thought it was Piggy when I answered my question earlier, but maybe it's Simon? It is Simon, okay. Why the hell didn't anyone put Jack in charge? Which one is Jack? A, I'm not sure. B, because he murdered one of their own and proceeded to feast on his flesh right in front of everybody. C, because Ralph died in the line of duty. D, because Jack used a masterful combination of fear-mongering, manipulation, and force to present himself as a promising leader. It's not A, that's not an answer, and I don't think it's D. I don't think it's B, is it? I don't like any of these answers. Oh, because Jack used a masterful combination of fear-mongering, manipulation, and force to present himself. I misread the question. Why the hell did anyone put Jack in charge? I read it as why the hell didn't anyone put Jack in charge? And I was confused. Okay, so I knew the answer was D. I misread the question. Sorry. If you want to survive a post-nuclear desert island novel, what should you do? A. Whine about everything and everybody, especially the guy who hates you and has a certain propensity for violence. No. B. Be around a wildfire. No. C. Learn something that would be valuable to the rest of the group and rush off to tell them in the middle of a thunderstorm. No. D. Keep your head down but quietly work on your spear throwing. D. Yes. Okay, 10. Which of these things does not happen in the book? Crap. Okay. Ralph and Piggy use the conch shell to make farting noises. It's a possibility. B. The kids poop in the food supply. Yes. C. Jack eats an entire coconut, shell and all. That sounds fake. Roger defiles a pig. The shell of the coconut? This book is a train wreck if that's the answer that I'm like, no, I don't think that happened. I was right. I didn't eat it. Okay. I got 7 out of 10 right. Okay, really, I got 8 out of 10 right. There's that one that I misread, so I got it right. That's an 80%. I passed. Yay. Okay, well, would you look at... Oh, my results say... Well, would you look at that? You read the book and then remembered some of the stuff you read. Not a perfect score, but so what? Do you think Beyonce knows everything there is to know about Lord of the Flies? I'm guessing not. But she paid somebody to know this stuff for her. Probably someone who got a 10 out of 10 on this quiz, actually. Sorry, there are many viable career options out there for you, but being Beyonce's personal Lord of the Flies guru is not one of them. That's kind of funny. Haha. Thanks, SparkNotes. Okay, now let's sort the characters into Hogwarts houses. Ralph is in Gryffindor because he's good-looking, confident, and charismatic with a courageous heart and a thirst for adventure. Jack is a Slytherin. Okay, yes. Ralph and Jack are 2 sides of the same coin, which is why they almost sorted Jack into Gryffindor. But Jack is a Slytherin. He's not as brave, because there's that one time that Ralph walked headfirst into danger while Jack cowered on the sidelines. Yet he yearns for power and has no quibbles about seizing it. He's manipulative. And he personifies arrogance. Piggy is Ravenclaw. Duh. I'm not even going to read that. Simon, Ravenclaw. Simon is a wise and mature child who occasionally wanders off to daydream privately and escape all the drama, which is very on brand for Ravenclaws. Where are our Hufflepuffs? Roger, Slytherin. I don't ascribe to the notions that all Slytherins are evil, but boy is Roger ever a Slytherin. There's something almost impressively forward-thinking about being the first person on the island to realize the rules don't apply here. Sam and Eric, Hufflepuff. Sam and Eric, who are for all intents and purposes the same person, have a loyalty to each other that rivals anything we see over the course of the story. I believe they value fair play like most Hufflepuffs, which is why they are so easily taken in by Jack. Neither of them saw his betrayal coming. They even warned Ralph about Jack at risk to their own lives. Maurice, Hufflepuff. There is a character named Maurice? Who is he? Just as not all Slytherins are evil, not all Hufflepuffs are innately good. Maurice shows extreme loyalty to Jack, even in the face of overwhelming evidence that he shouldn't, though he does seem to feel some semblance of guilt and unease about things like committing murder. They're right. You know what? They're right. Percival Wemyss Madison, Ravenclaw. This was that one kid who posited the idea that the beast might come from the sea. That's some real outside-the-box thinking. Ravenclaw. Robert is a squib. I can't remember who Robert is, but the character list I googled assured me that he exists. I can only assume he's one of the other various boys that were milling about unmemorably, and for that reason, I'm going to go with he's a squib and move on. Who wrote this? I love them. Also, that's fun. Isn't Robert one of the kids? He's one of, what do they call the little ones? But he's like 6 or something. Okay guys, thanks for watching this train wreck of a video. I don't know if you could tell that I definitely sobered up from whatever wine buzz I had going by the end, thanks to having to take a filming break to clean up the wine that was all over my room. There's still a little bit of it on the wall, but I used a magic eraser, so I don't know what else to do about it. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully soon I'll have another one of these classics videos coming at ya. Till next time, bye everybody!